Yo guys, Paunchy here, and today I wanted to show you a little bit about how I use my Analog Heat. I'm going to be doing a few more videos on my Analog Heat because I realize I've neglected it over the life of my YouTube channel. But today I kind of wanted to show you a quick preset that I made just to kind of get a little boost out of your Analog Heat. And if you're considering buying one, hopefully this convinces you that it is indeed worth it in 2022. But again, I will be doing some more comprehensive videos over the next little while, but hope this helps you. Here we go. Alright guys, so I have my Octatrack running into the Analog Heat, and into the Octatrack I have the circuit tracks and circuit rhythm running into the Octatrack. So the idea with the Analog Heat is you can kind of look at it like your mix bus on a DAW. If you're at all familiar with recording on a DAW, normally you process your mix bus in a certain way to give it kind of some sweetening. Usually you bring the level up, different things like that. So the idea with the Analog Heat is that you put it at the end of whatever it is you're running. I mean, you could just straight up run a synth into this guy, but the idea here is that there are 8 different analog circuits that each give you a different sweetening, a different sound, a different tone, however you want to look at it. And so if whatever you run through your Analog Heat, it acts as kind of for lack of a better word, I mean, it has a filter, but it ultimately is like a cherry on top, or a sweetening is the best way to look at it. So if I run my pattern here, this is what it sounds like without the Analog Heat. Okay, now this is what it sounds like with this clean boost analog circuit that I have set up here. Here's off, here's on. Now, yes, there is a volume difference, as I'm sure you notice, and that's not the only thing that it does ultimately. These different analog circuits here, some of them have a lot more gain than the other ones, specifically like the high gain one. There's also a crunch, a fuzz circuit, mid drive. So if I don't want gain on my whatever it is I'm plugging into here, then I usually stick to either enhancement, saturation, or clean boost. Clean boost is self-explanatory. It provides a boost without having too much gain or distorting the signal at all. Saturation, I find that it's also pretty self-explanatory. Saturation adds saturation to the end of it, but it doesn't quite emphasize it kind of takes away from the low end a little bit. So that's one thing to keep in mind when using that circuit. And then the enhancement one kind of emphasizes the highs a little bit. Also adds some bass, but not a ton. But that's also why you have your equalizer over here. You can add lows and highs or remove them. So, and then also over here you have different types of filters. So what I want to show you today, just want to do a quick one today and show you how I make a preset on the Analog Heat. So all you have to do up here is turn this knob. It comes up with your list of presets here. So you just go up to the top to init preset. Bam. So now you have just a blank preset. You'll notice that by default it already adds a little bit of volume when you turn it off versus on. You can hear that there's a little bit of volume. Also, it automatically chooses a filter for you. So the thing about the filter is if you don't want it to be filtering, which it does. This one took me a while to realize at first that even though your frequency might be all the way cut off, it's still kind of filtering a little bit. So the way to turn this off is to press both of these, and none of these will be lit up. By default, it runs a low pass filter on there with quite a steep curve. So you know, that's not always something that you want necessarily. So for now, we'll just turn that off. So the idea here is to set these three knobs accordingly, and you'll get a nice preset. You'll get a nice sweetening of whatever you have plugged into here. So the first thing you want to do is set your drive. So I want to give it, you know, a good amount of drive, especially since it's cleaner. So let's set it to about 90. And this is kind of a case where you can copy these exact settings if you want. If you want this kind of preset here that I'm showing you. So we'll set the drive to 90. The wet level, we'll leave it up right now. And then, well, the dry and wet, let's have that all the way up. We'll have it all the way to the wet side. So the idea now is that you want to kind of match up your out to your in. So that way you're not just getting a volume boost. You'll be able to hear the difference between the two, you know, when the preset's on or off. So let's match our levels using the wet level here. So you'll notice if you turn it down, the out greatly decreases. So let's go ahead and match them up here. Okay, that's about good. And then with the dry and wet, you don't necessarily, I mean, it depends what you're going for. In this case, we could leave it up all the way, but I will turn it down just a hair to about 3 o'clock. So that way we do still get a little bit of that dry signal, but it's mostly wet. Turn the wet up a little bit here. Cool. And there you go. So if you turn it off versus on, and if you're listening on headphones or if you're listening on your studio monitors, you'll be able to tell that there's a bit of a change, you know, kind of an EQ change. Also, if you want to really add some low end, go ahead and use the equalizer here. By default, these are 0 when they're at 12 o'clock. So if you want to add a little bit of lows, just turn it up past 12 o'clock here. This is what happens when you turn it up all the way. It can add quite a bit of bass if that's what you want. But that is certainly way too much. So let's turn it down. Okay, and then if you mess with your highs, here's what it sounds like when there's too much. Yeah, way too harsh. But you can kind of use that to add a little boost if you want. But and there you have it. So that's how you make a clean boost preset on here. So hope that helps you guys. I'm gonna do some more videos on this in depth, but I just wanted to show you real quick, you know, a quick way to get into using your analog heat. Of course, there is also an envelope and an LFO, so those are something we can explore at another time. But hope that helps you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below, and I will see you in the next video. Also, while I sign out here, I'm going to show you a couple of my different presets that I have set here. So see you guys next time.